Hi, my name is Ahmad. I'm an instructor, a mathematics instructor here at the University of Calgary, Qatar. And I'm presenting some work that we did, some collaborative work that we did here between the foundations, which is what I'm part of, and nursing. We have a big problem here in our institution with our students, and that problem is mathematics education, and apparently that's a big problem all over the world for nursing education. And so we decided to address this by coming together and figuring out a way to improve mathematics. So the big problem really is retention and transfer of knowledge. A lot of times students will come and ask me, why do we need to know this? And this is very, very typical for anyone, any math teacher really. It's a big question in mathematics for mathematics students. But of course, here we have a very particular context. And so it was obvious that we weren't able to connect that context to the theory of mathematics. Students weren't able to make those connections. And there wasn't very much differentiated learning. Essentially, before, students were coming into the classroom, learning their math, going home, and then eventually going into the nursing program, and they weren't able to remember any of the math, let alone connect it to what they needed to do in nursing. So essentially, what we did was a guy named Ken, who works at the Center for Teaching and Learning, brought a bunch of us together, some nursing instructors and some foundations instructors and a bunch of other people, and we created this maths improvement project. And in this maths improvement project, we discussed different strategies of how we could improve mathematics education here at UCQ for the context of nursing. And we came up with 4 different subgroups, and I'm going to tell you about the subgroup that I worked on. I worked on the subgroup called situated learning. And the idea of this subgroup was to literally situate mathematics education into a nursing context. So what did we do? A couple of people, myself, and a nursing instructor named Lisa Chute, we created a lesson. One lesson to provide students with a background of why math is important in nursing. And you can see the lesson plan here. And this lesson plan really just focused on the importance of math in nursing and provided different development tools for students to connect math to nursing. It was very differentiated, a lot of different types of things, and I'll go through them right now. So the first part of the lesson plan was to get students engaged by providing them a backdrop. Why is math important? And there was a little bit of a talk from the instructor, myself, but we actually really jumped into it by playing a game. And the game was a sorting game. What we had were some cards, and these cards were things that need math and things that don't need math, and they would sort these cards into two different piles. And it created a lot of discussion, a lot of argument actually between students, because they all had different ideas of what they thought was important in terms of math for nursing. And this was really good because it got them engaged, it got them thinking about things, and it got them rolling, got them warmed up. The next thing we did was we created a video, a really, really cool video. I wish I could show you the video, but I have a picture of it right here, and we call it the nurse's video. And this video was a situation where a patient comes out of an operation, and his nurse is taking care of him. And essentially what happens in the video is that this nurse makes a few mistakes, and we don't really highlight the mistakes. It's a very, very real-looking scenario. And students are, well, first of all, it looks real, it's funny, and they're engaged. But the idea is that they can see that this can happen at any time, and they're required in this video to kind of see where they could make the mistake, where the mistake happens. And so they watch this video, and it creates a lot of discussion. We stop in between scenes and ask students to analyze what they see. And it's really important in our specific context because we're teaching students who are second language learners, foreign language learners. And so a video with a real situation where they can see what's happening is a really, really good way for them to sort of analyze the situation, rather than having it just in terms of text. Which leads us to the next element of our lesson plan, which is the Socratic part. It is a PowerPoint, and we give our students a lesson a worksheet so that they can follow the PowerPoint without actually having to take notes. Again, foreign language learners, it's a little bit difficult for them to take notes. So we provide them essentially the notes with some fill in the blanks, and they can answer questions as they move along. And the idea of the PowerPoint really is just to provide basic information, just factual stuff, not necessarily for them to think about, but just for them to see. And it really, really did prove to be very powerful. Just as an example, we gave them a number. I think it was approximately 1 out of 131 people die because of medical miscalculation. And these types of things are really, really powerful for them to connect back to some of the other things that we do in the lesson. And the last activity, which is my favorite activity, is the activity stations. Activity stations are literally just that, just some different stations with different activities that students can do. And these were very nursing-specific activities. So the idea here was, wink, wink, that we're teaching them math in a nursing context, and they're having fun with it at the same time. You can see a couple of pictures here. If you saw more pictures, or if you were in the class, you would see that the students are super engaged doing this activity. It really is, it's just a scenario, and each scenario has manipulatives. So in this case, the manipulatives were things like an IV drip, things like pill cutter, and what they needed to do was do a calculation, but also use the manipulative to figure out the answer. And it's really good because it's also an aesthetic experience as opposed to just a paper and pencil thinking about it, that type of thing. And the results are amazing. Super high engagement. I mean, that's for me, that's number one. Super high engagement, and because of that, students were really, really responsive to the learning. They really appreciated the message that we were putting across. And in the end, I don't remember the last time I heard a student ask me, why do I need to know this? Because they had this as a backdrop. And this provides sort of the seed for us moving forward. We are planning on doing a lot more work along the same lines as this lesson plan. It was a lot of fun to do, and we had really great results. Thanks.